Sense+Nation.
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 This is Sense+Nation. Sense+Nation.
The Sense+Nation.
Sense+Nation. Where we make sense of life and reality.
Welcome to Sense+Nation.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana. This is where we make sense of life and reality to liberate the mind on the truth of life in general. I choose to think of it as a pool of opinions that make sense because we are intelligent beings and there is reason behind it with a truth in it. So we will see things in our different ways by the end of every episode. We're getting into conversation and drive around the paths we have crossed and coming to this point where we make sense of life and reality. Welcome to this show, and we're here with Nyacomba.
Thank you. Founder,
Founder.
Director, CEO, whatever you want to call it, for FreeMind Sessions.
Sometimes I feel this thing comes from so far that as much as we all have ideas, to have an idea that you can actually see it, you can see and you can Google FreeMind Sessions.
Yeah.
That's a big step already. So
Yeah.
so to one of the successful founders who have seen the idea from ideation to people actually seeing it and being involved and being engaged. So that's amazing. And
Thank you.
yeah, karibu sana. Kindly let's start with what do you do? Since we will like you give us in your months, what do you do?
What I do. I
Let's
mean,
understand you.
yes, I mean, apart from being the founder of FreeMind Sessions, I am a textile designer by profession. I like to do a textile because it's more in depth, aligning with what I want to do with fabrics and fabric printing, and I really like the whole idea of just colors and textures, coming together. As much as I have also a bit of knowledge in like tailoring and pattern cutting, I've moved more closer to prints. So it's like today it's weird I'm not even wearing prints today because I normally wear so much floral prints.
With prints.
Yeah, but I really love color so much. So I feel that's what I do a lot, and a lot of fashion illustration as well. In terms of sketching, and I really just like seeing it in a paper, and sometimes it's interesting to see that and then you create it. So that concept and process is amazing.
Wow, so yeah, I nearly forgot you're a designer.
You nearly forgot. We were in the same school.
Exactly. I nearly forgot we were in the same school. I know you from campus and all that. But now, design and all, yeah, man. And then
Yeah.
4 years.
I've flown by it, and you're kind of like okay.
True. So nearly forgetting that, and so I'm like, wow, designer, FreeMind Sessions.
I know.
How did this two come in much?
Weird enough, every time when I love to tell this story is that FreeMind actually came from design. FreeMind came from fashion because the word free mind actually had translated to what I called my collection at the time in 2016, 2017, Ethereal Bohemia. Just that, and if you know from the word ethereal, it's moving in this sort of not conformed to this one state of being, whether it's air, whether it's solid, whether it's liquid, whether it's not even any of those, and then Bohemia, the state of just being free-spirited. So I created this collection back in my third year of campus, and because with campus when you choose a specific discipline, because there are all these other disciplines, I chose fashion, and part of that exam and being examined in that regard, you had to create a collection at the end of it all. So of course there's the backstory of why you're creating the collection. There's all these like manner of steps you're collecting, and there's all this research you're doing. And for me, I think because at the time I was doing third year again because of some tragedy that had happened. I really wanted to do it in a very, I wanted to give it my all. Like, if the fact that this, at the time it was just very crazy because, you don't expect to lose a parent and then you haven't been told to do exams. It's kind of like all messing with your head at the time. So I was really in a very bad place. I've lost a parent, then I'm having to redo school. So I think you get into the space, and I know you've probably felt this, where your creativity is kind of blocked in a way, but also
it's a war. Like there's darkness actually.
There's very much darkness. So in me, that darkness somehow is where I found inspiration to be like, actually, I don't want to be in this darkness anymore. I want to see it through. And how I saw it through was create. In that pain, create. And that's how FreeMind actually was born. I created this collection. I was just filled with so much, if you look at the collection, it's like full of blue, full of white, full of just things that make me so, like when I'm in, why I think of it is like ethereal is also the way I feel when I get into water. It's like gravity loses control, you're just in this space where you're just non-conforming to anything, and that's how, it came and translated it. And then, so we had done this backstory, this sort of social impact part, sustainability part of the project. And I looked at it and I was like, I've created this collection that gives people confidence, that gives people a chance to do what they want, almost like superheroes in a way, because I'm a really, really big comic fan, and I feel every time I've seen any of my favorite comics dress into their favorite, outfits, they're just doing the most, saving lives, going for what they want, they're just busting through walls, etc., things, just defying all sort of things, right? Yeah. And so that's how I felt my collection felt like. So I thought, why not create a space that felt like that? Why not create that space? And that's how we started off with the first session in 2017. With creatives, just making it purely creative, because creatives sometimes remind me of like my own type of superheroes, because you have this like fire in you, and then you can create so much, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't know what to do with it. So you just, you paint, you take your camera, you take pictures, you create films, you sculpt, you just do a lot. You sit down and you sew. And that's how you just release. And I feel like that's a lot of how, again, superheroes feel like they have all these things, but they don't know how to like release it,
Hey, you've hit so many points. I'm like, hey, this name has gone inside, because it's just so amazing that why even you're looking into life and reality is, in general, what you've touched on is you've touched on pain. Pain is one thing that's they say is in life. Life is rough.
Yeah.
Life has and the road is rough basically.
Yeah.
This is part of failing and getting to the dark place.
Yeah.
But now there's a place where people disappear through the dark place.
Right.
There are people, but still in that place is where you're supposed to turn around. You get to that place where there's nothing else. There's only light that can now come from there.
Or maybe the light might not come. Like that's you have to seek out that light. Honestly.
No, but still, I think I feel it's from inside, because it's not you see, you don't.
That's what
see
I'm saying. Like you have to seek out that light for yourself, and it's the way you're saying it comes from
And
within.
again, where does it even come from? Because you've already lost, you're already in darkness, you're already weak, you're already confused. Why does this even come from those times?
I think a lot of times we get clouded. A lot of our conscious and subconscious, I think, has been clouded by a lot of people's opinions and a lot of like the outside world, what we consume on social media, the news, what we read, our friends, our peers who have their own consciousness and subconsciousness is what feeds into us. And in those moments of darkness, it's very easy to sort of blanket yourself with those opinions. And I think how, for example, I'll take myself as an example, how you get to pierce through that darkness is remembering what you're made of, and remembering what you're capable of, and the things you've been able to achieve, whether it's at a shorter period of time or a longer period of time, whatever time it takes. Because I think we also run a marathon thinking that we're in a marathon with other people. It's actually a marathon with yourself. it's beating your previous self. You know, in school I used to always say that it's better that I am the last person, but I beat the score that I got last time. You know, rather than thinking I need to beat so and so. You know, and I think that's the reason why a lot of us struggle. As a creative, I can say this, it's because we are comparing ourselves with other people. So even me going back to school and doing third year again was very traumatizing for me. And let me tell you, I was this close to quitting. Me, I was just like, by the way, it's over. I mean, I've lost my parent. I don't think I feel like school is even really up to my standards at this point. What's really there for me to really go back to it? And I think it was only then my lecturer, bless Ogake, she was just like, no, I think you have the potential to do what it is you set your mind to, and this is it. It's now up to you. You know, when it's just up to you to make the decision, I can pull you towards coming to school every single day, but if you do not want it, and that's why the way you said such a good point, if it does not come from you, it will never flourish. And that's why I think even why freedom is so much important to me is because it came at a moment of darkness, of me having to figure out from within, without other people's opinions, how to come out from that, to rise from the ashes, as they say.
Society, I feel there's a lot of, as you said,
Yeah.
we have has influence on everybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel, what if the influence is wrong, as much as it's the one that's supposed to still govern people.
Right.
So I've been wondering how to change that, because it's taking away a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people are getting lost. When you get into that, it's pure darkness. And it's a lot, because you hear even what people are doing, elites in the country are talking about, and it's what they say. And even around the world, I get to a point, I'm like, you know what, we're all human. Just like, there's how many schools you've gone to, how many wives you have, how young or old you are. Sometimes has nothing to do with a lot. It's still life on its own. There's nothing else can be done. So my feeling is, as much as like talking about the good things and all that, I like how there's also like mental wellness in FreeMind Sessions.
Deeply.
And I feel it covers everything. Because how can you be a good doctor and yet you're not in the peace of having a free mind to even solve things that you're supposed to solve, the problems you're supposed to solve.
Have a FreeMind Sessions in your house.
Exactly, yeah. As in, it's free. Even when you look at parents and kids, as in, parents with a structured head. Oh, that's a kid with some things to deal with later on in their future, because they will meet other people out there.
Yes.
This is the same kid who now somebody else like, hey, this is a difficult person. It's because one another they are fighting or pushing on whatever they were told.
It's true, because you see, society is so flawed. Even the society that we say this society is flawed as well. Like, we have to realize anything that's been made by man is flawed. You know, because there's nothing that can be perfect. Even mathematically, you try to put the curve into the zero, it does not want to go to the zero. Zero is perfect and it cannot go to the perfect point. And so I feel we need to, to carve your own path is scary. It's the fear of the unknown, that you do not know where you're going. If you decide to go that route, you could literally fall into the ditches. But society is that kind of place where it's like a sort of comfortable cushion to fall back on, because so long as you know that you have these people backing you up, you feel comfortable. But it's also, they're the same people who could turn against you at the same time, right? Even though, because they know you're different. Like, if you've ever felt that sense of like, I don't feel sort of rooted in this place, or the conventional way of doing things. Like, I always say, with FreeMind Sessions, we're always speaking on very uncomfortable and unconventional topics, and mental health is one of them. Nobody in, first of all, our, African society ever wanted to speak that their mind is going through the most, that they feel like they don't want to be here anymore, that they feel overwhelmed with things, and then it also translates to men feeling this masculinity to be stoic and strong, and that, you know, there's just those kind of things where like you're not giving space for them to conversate. Like it's such an elusive thought to be, you know. Um, so I really, it's really a scary place to be to like go into that space of I'm actually going to have to walk this road on my own and do things that might get me in a lot of trouble. But I mean, at least I did it. At least I did it.
This is where I mentioned in the introduction
Yeah.
that it's a pool of opinions that make sense because we are intelligent beings. So one of the things that you said being scared about being scary is still how to interpret it is man, whatever, everything that man has already made already has a fault, so somehow. So how do you even trust yourself since you're still that you're making the right decision?
This is Sense Nation. Sense Nation.
The Sense Nation.
Sense Nation. Where we make sense of life and reality.